longevity with quality and joy. Living longer is a privilege, but living well, that's an achievement. And this achievement doesn't happen by chance. It's made of daily choices, genuine connections, and bonds built with care and respect. Community. Groups, social clubs, and associations are more than just leisure spaces. They're sources of health, vitality, and purpose. When seniors feel included, active, and productive, their minds renew, their bodies strengthen, and their souls flourish. Being part of a group protects against sadness, encourages physical care, stimulates the mind, and nourishes the heart. Joy isn't just found in big moments, but in small encounters, in shared coffee and collective laughter, in sincere hugs. Since joining the group, I feel younger. Not because my wrinkles disappeared, but because my will to live returned. Quality. Longevity isn't about living many years. It's about living each year with meaning, with hope, with connections. And there's no more powerful medicine than the feeling of belonging and genuine joy. Yes, aging can be beautiful. It can be light, it can be happy. If you're part of the senior community, know this: there's still so much to live, much to discover, much to share. And if you haven't found a group yet, seek one. There's a place waiting for you, with open arms and stories ready to intertwine with yours. If you're already part of a group, share this video with your friends. Strengthen this support network. Spread this message. Life is better when lived together, because when surrounded by affection, everything transforms. Even time seems to smile upon us. Subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and continue this journey of wisdom, affection, and inspiration with us. And remember, you're not alone, and it's never too late to reconnect with the joy of living. Fostering creativity and lifelong learning. There's a common misconception that learning is for the young, that creativity has an expiration date, that after a certain age, the mind should only rest. But just step into a painting class, a choir, or a computer course for seniors, and you'll see that isn't true. Where there's willingness to discover, there's youth. Where there's curiosity, there's life. And where there's learning, there's growth. Community groups, associations, and clubs are powerful catalysts for this creative spark. They provide a safe, respectful, encouraging environment where mistakes are allowed, and trying is already a victory. I never imagined I'd play guitar someday, thought my brain couldn't handle it anymore. But the teacher was patient, the group supported me, and now I even perform at gatherings. It's not just about learning something new. It's about allowing yourself to play again. Rediscovering the joy of creating. Painting without rules, writing without fear, singing without shame. Creativity doesn't fade with time. It just needs space to bloom. When seniors engage in creative activities, their minds expand. Self-esteem grows, the brain gets stimulated, and the heart warms. More than that, they begin seeing themselves differently, not as people of the past, but as individuals who still have much to express. I wrote my first poem at 72. When I shared it with the group, a woman cried, said it felt like I'd told her life story. Never thought my words held that power. Creating is touching the invisible, transforming memories into art, longing into sound, hope into form. And when done in a group, the experience multiplies. People encourage each other, inspire each other, support each other. The beautiful truth? Talent has no age limit. Sometimes the gift was there all along, just waiting for the right moment to emerge. These groups become fertile ground where ideas sprout, forgotten skills return, and new learnings become new joys. Because learning is an act of self-love. Creating is an act of freedom. And living where it means continuing to discover yourself until the final chapter. A sense of belonging and community connection. What gives life meaning often isn't what we achieve, but the feeling of being part of something greater than ourselves. Throughout life's journey, we fulfill roles: parents, workers, caregivers. But at a certain age, many wonder, now what? Where do I belong? Belonging is a profound human need. We all want to feel seen, heard, important, to know we're part of something. In community groups, clubs, and associations, this connection is restored. Age doesn't matter. Humans are made to interact, share, collaborate. When seniors are included in decisions, actions, projects, they feel valued. They realize they still have a voice. And that changes everything. At the community center, everyone has a role. I organize birthdays. It might seem simple, but when someone says, "Thanks for remembering me," my heart fills up. This kind of engagement transforms seniors from spectators into protagonists. They stop feeling like burdens, like afterthoughts, and become active members of a network that welcomes, respects, and listens. More than recreational activities, these groups build bridges between people, between stories, between different times. They create spaces where people can laugh, learn, reminisce, dream, but above all, belong. I used to stay home watching TV. Now in the group I have friends. We call, care, celebrate together. It's like a new family. Belonging isn't just physical presence. It's feeling accepted, knowing your presence matters, having a place that's yours, where your absence is noticed and your presence is celebrated. Community connection doesn't just heal old wounds and it prevents new ones. It strengthens the heart, expands the mind, and warms the soul. Because when we feel part of something greater, everything changes. In the end, it's not our location that defines us, but the bonds we build, the hands we hold, the names we learn to call with affection. To belong is to live, and to live together is to live better. Encouraging physical activity and mental well-being. The body speaks. It always has. But as years pass, many stop listening. The back pain, the fatigue, the lack of energy. They seem like signs it's time to stop, slow down, withdraw. But is that really true? In reality, the body is saying, "Move me," because movement is where life keeps pulsing. Joining community groups is a wonderful way to energize both body and mind, because exercise takes on new meaning when done together. The flavor of motivation, shared laughter, and encouraging companionship. I used to ache just thinking about moving. But after joining the neighborhood walking group, I started slow. And now if I miss a day, my body misses it. And so does my mind. That's exactly it. Body and mind are connected. Caring for one means caring for the other. Group physical activity improves mood, reduces depression symptoms, fights anxiety. It helps sleep, circulation, balance, and most importantly, restores that sense of autonomy. It's not about running marathons. It's about climbing stairs without fear, walking to the store confidently, feeling capable, feeling alive. I thought I was too old for anything. Then I started at the community center fitness class. At first, I just watched. Then I tried. Now I'm the first to arrive. My grandson jokes I've become an athlete. There's something even more valuable in this process, the mental effect. When the body moves, thoughts unlock too. Ideas flow. Self-esteem improves. Seniors regain belief they can still learn, overcome challenges, reinvent themselves. In this space of collective movement, of caring for body and others, health blossoms. Because it's not just about living longer. It's about living better. Groups provide structure, support, encouragement. No one is forced. Everyone is inspired. Each person's pace is respected. Every progress celebrated, no matter how small. In the end, the body thanks you, the mind smiles. And the heart understands. There's still so much to do. Steps to take, rhythms to dance, muscles to awaken. And being in a group makes it all lighter, more beautiful, more possible, creating new purpose and meaning in life. After decades devoted to family, work, raising children, many seniors face a frightening silence. A silence that asks, now what is my role? It's common at this stage to feel like purpose has run out, like the mission is over, but that isn't true. Life continues offering new paths, new reasons to rise, new meaning in each dawn. And it's in community groups, clubs, and associations where many rediscover purpose, uncover talents, create goals, nourish dreams. When I retired, I thought I was useless. Then I joined a volunteer group helping struggling school children. Those kids gave me a new reason to live. Purpose doesn't mean grand achievements, simply something meaningful, something that makes you want to rise. That could be tending a garden, writing memoirs, teaching a craft, joining a play, organizing events, or learning something new. When seniors find spaces to contribute, create, build, they light up. Eyes sparkle with possibilities of leaving marks, still making differences. I always loved woodworking but never had time. Now I have my corner in the carpentry group and even taught a young man to make a stool. He said he'll keep it forever. That touched me. Life's meaning doesn't retire, it transforms. In community groups, seniors realize they can still be sources of wisdom, inspiration, joy, service. And this renews the soul. Purpose is feeling useful, feeling part of something, knowing there's still something to give, to learn, to experience. When this happens, sadness gives way to enthusiasm. Apathy yields to creativity. Life regains color. Because it's never too late to start anew, never too late to dream differently, never too late to feel truly alive. Sharing knowledge and experiences. There's a quiet kind of wealth that isn't measured in money, but in stories, in lived experiences, in everything learned over a lifetime, often through pain, struggle, and love. And this wealth lives within every senior. It's in the way they speak, the way they look, the hands marked by time. It's a treasure of accumulated wisdom. But what happens when this treasure isn't shared? When everything learned is kept in silence inside the home, waiting for someone who rarely comes? That's why community groups are so important. Because there, amid conversations and laughter, a space is reborn where knowledge flows again. Every story told teaches, every piece of advice given enlightens, every memory shared transforms. I worked as a carpenter for over 40 years, and I thought I'd never use my tools again after retirement. But in our neighborhood group, we set up a woodworking workshop, and now I teach younger folks what I learned from my father. It's like I've gone back in time and rediscovered myself. The wisdom of seniors is ancestral. It's a bridge between what was and what can still be. In groups, that bridge grows stronger. Exchanging recipes, teaching a craft, sharing childhood tales, reminiscing about old games, explaining life before the internet, all of this has immense value because it shows that age isn't the end of knowledge, it's its peak. In our group, once a month, we have Knowledge Day. Everyone teaches something. We've had crochet, prayer, stories of resilience, even lessons on making homemade soap. It's wonderful. We feel valued, being heard, being respected, being recognized for what you know. All of this renews the spirit and strengthens identity. Sharing experiences also builds bridges between generations. It shows younger people that age doesn't limit, it expands. It teaches, it guides, it protects. And at the same time, seniors also learn. They learn new ways of thinking, seeing the world, expressing themselves. Because knowledge has no end. Wisdom is an endless road. When a group forms, it's not just a physical space. It's a territory of exchange, of living memories, of mutual learning. And with every meeting, every conversation, something precious happens. Knowledge multiplies. Experiences find a voice, and no one feels useless. On the contrary, they feel essential. Because deep down, what we want most is this: to be remembered for what we've lived, and to leave, in every word and gesture, a legacy that inspires those who come after, boosting self-esteem and a sense of belonging. Have you ever felt like you no longer had a place in the world? Like your opinions didn't matter anymore? Like life was moving on, but you'd been left behind? Sadly, many seniors carry this feeling. Loneliness may not always be physical, but it can hide between the lines of silence, in the absence of an invitation, a kind word, or someone truly listening. I felt invisible until I joined the senior choir. The first time I sang, I cried, but then I gained courage. Now I've even done solos, and I've never felt alone since. That's why community groups, clubs, and associations are so much more than just gatherings. They are rescues of identity, of self-worth, of value. When a senior enters a space where they're welcomed, seen, and heard, something inside them rebuilds. Slowly, the spark in their eyes returns. Their voice grows steadier. Their smile appears more often. Being part of a group isn't just about doing an activity. It's about feeling that you matter, that your presence makes a difference, that who you are is enough. Self-esteem grows when there's recognition, when there's support, when there's space to be yourself, with all your wrinkles, all your stories, all your life's baggage. In groups, seniors begin to feel proud of themselves again. They celebrate simple but profound victories, learning something new, helping a friend, finishing a walk, dancing without shame. I never thought I was handsome, but in the photography group, someone took a picture of me smiling, and when I saw it, I thought, wow, there's still life in my face. That photo showed me a side of myself I'd forgotten. Belonging means knowing you have a place where you can be whole, where there's no judgment, only acceptance. And this sense of belonging, of being connected to something greater, is essential for emotional well-being. Because no one should grow old feeling like they're on the margins. In groups, every senior becomes part of a small community. They gain friends, companions, bonds that go beyond activities. They create real connections. And this transforms. It nourishes the soul, reignites the will to live. Because when self-esteem returns, and the heart feels it belongs, no age can stop someone from blooming again. And that's the power of togetherness, reminding others, and yourself, that you are still valuable, unique, and deeply needed. Promoting physical and mental health. Have you ever noticed how your body responds better when your mind is at ease? In our later years, it's common to hear that the body isn't what it used to be. That movement becomes harder, that aches increase, that fatigue sets in sooner. But what few talk about is the incredible power of the connection between physical health and emotional well-being. Community groups, clubs, and associations offer something far beyond just distraction. They offer health, literally. Activities like walking, water, aerobics, senior dance, adapted yoga, and senior fitness classes, all done in a group setting, safely and warmly, awaken the body and renew the soul. And most importantly, all of this happens without rush, without competition, at each person's own pace, in the rhythm of experience, respect, and care. After joining the stretching group at the park, my energy changed. My back pain lessened. And look, even my mood improved. I do the exercises slowly, at my own pace, but I never miss a session. It's my commitment to myself. But it's not just the body that benefits, the mind flourishes too. Participating in group activities stimulates memory, attention, and language. Board games, reading circles, music, and art workshops are real brain exercises, and even better, without the coldness of screens or the loneliness of apps. These moments of socializing reduce symptoms of depression, lower stress, and strengthen self-esteem. All because being with others reminds us of our worth. It shows us that we still have so much to offer, to learn, and to teach. I thought I wasn't useful anymore, After retiring, it felt like I wasn't good for anything. But when I started teaching embroidery at the church group, everything changed. I felt alive, capable, useful, and that did wonders for my mind. When you find purpose, the body responds, health renews itself, and what once seemed impossible, like having more energy, sleeping better, smiling for no reason, starts happening naturally. Community groups promote what medicine alone cannot achieve: genuine joy, a sense of belonging, and motivation to keep taking care of yourself every day. If you feel like you need to take better care of your health, maybe the first step is to seek companionship. Because sometimes true healing lies in the simple act of walking beside someone. When the body moves and the heart feels seen, life begins to bloom again, and living well becomes a real possibility. Encouraging autonomy and independence. Aging doesn't mean losing control of your life. Quite the opposite. Your later years can and should be a time of autonomy, of choice, of decisions that come from the heart and the wisdom gathered over so many years lived. But maintaining that autonomy requires encouragement, support, opportunities, and that's where community groups, clubs, and associations become invaluable allies. By joining a group, seniors begin to see themselves again as active individuals, capable, useful, with a voice, with opinions. Organizing an event, choosing the week's activity, leading a discussion, learning something new, all of this strengthens a sense of independence. In our walking group, we take turns planning the route. I'd never led anything before. Now I'm the one marking the stops and even guiding my peers. It made me realize I still have so much to contribute. Autonomy isn't just about getting round on your own. It's about deciding what to wear, where to go, what to learn, who to spend time with. It's about keeping the right to make choices and feeling in charge of your own story. In groups, many seniors discover or rediscover skills. Cooking, sewing, teaching, learning to use a smartphone, planning a group trip. This gives purpose. It builds self-esteem. It strengthens the mind and the desire to live with more freedom. Because when you feel motivated, when you feel useful, dependence doesn't take over. It retreats. I always needed my grandson's help to pay bills online, but at the senior group in my neighborhood, I started taking smartphone classes. Now I handle everything myself. It gave me a freedom I didn't even know I needed. Encouraging autonomy is offering dignity. It's allowing every senior to remain the author of their own life, even with limitations, even with the challenges time brings. And this doesn't happen in isolation. Autonomy grows stronger through connection, through encouragement, through a safe space where everyone is valued for what they know, what they feel, and who they are. In groups, seniors stop being just cared for and start caring too. Caring for each other, for the activities, for the shared space, and that changes everything. Because being independent isn't about living alone. It's about having choices. It's about having freedom. It's about having a voice. Autonomy is like a flame. If protected and nurtured, it keeps burning, lighting the way, strengthening steps, and reminding us that living well is possible, even when the hair has turned gray. Have you ever felt alone even when surrounded by people? What if I told you there's a simple, real, and accessible way to transform your days with more joy, health, and purpose? Today, we're going to talk about something that can completely change the way you live the best phase of your life. Senior groups, clubs, associations, communities that don't just fill time, but fill the heart. If you've been feeling like something's missing, maybe what's missing is exactly the power of togetherness, of belonging, of living longer and better with people like you. Senior groups, the power of togetherness to live better. An invitation to connection, emotional health, and rediscovering joy. Fighting loneliness and isolation. Loneliness, a silent feeling yet deeply present in the lives of many seniors. After retirement, with children following their own paths and routines changing, the time that once felt short now stretches. And with it comes emptiness. The walls of the house feel bigger and the silence weighs heavy. But what if I told you that you don't have to face this silence alone? The truth is, loneliness is not a life sentence, and one of the most powerful ways to fight it is by being with those who understand what you feel, other seniors, who are also seeking companionship, conversation, and affection. This is how community groups, clubs, and associations are born. These spaces are more than just places for activities. They are havens of connection, where stories are heard, memories are shared, and new ones are made. Because the simple act of sitting beside someone, sharing a cup of tea, laughing together, can turn a gray day into one full of color. I thought I was fine, but I realized I was just existing, not living. When I joined the reading group at the local association, it was like learning to breathe again. I made friends. Now I have people to talk to laugh with, even someone who calls me when I don't show up. Science confirms what the heart already knew. Social interaction reduces the risk of depression, improves memory, lowers anxiety, and strengthens the immune system. It's not just about emotional well-being, it's about health. Joining a group is an act of care. Care for others, but most importantly, care for yourself. It's like opening the windows of the soul to let life back in. Every shared conversation is a bond formed. Every hug a bridge between stories. And before we know it, that feeling of loneliness starts to fade, replaced by something powerful, the sense of belonging. Being in a group is a reminder that there's still so much to live for. That time can feel light, that afternoons can be filled with laughter, that Sundays no longer have to be silent, and that there's always someone willing to listen, to share, to walk alongside you. When my husband passed away, I thought my life was over. My children live far away, and every day felt the same. Until my neighbor took me to the senior club. I resisted at first, but now, I never miss a meeting. They're my new family. You are not alone. There are groups waiting for you. People who, like you, carry stories, pain, joys, and the desire to live with more love, more connection, more humanity. Loneliness may knock at the door, but when we're together, it finds no place to stay.